Okay. Well, we have quorum. I'm going to handle this in one shot. Well, thank you.
Commission started regulating the subdivision.
Well, we have quorum. I'm going to handle this in one shot.
Pause for just a moment.
There we go.
Should I start over? Okay, well, anyway, so where I was talking about was that it's common to associate the term subdivision to mean a large housing development with many lots, but the legal definition of subdivision is any division of land into two or more lots for the purpose of a development. So if you hear the word subdivision, it could be a big subdivision, but also it could just be dividing one lot into two or three lots. And let's see. And from our agenda, the majority of our cases involve divisions of property into 4 lots or less. So you'll be given the decision of the commission today regarding subdivision request, and the plat representative will receive the decision within writing, or in writing within 10 business days. Note that any subdivisions approved today are not complete. They have to be recorded. The final plat has to be recorded in the judge of probate. County staff will be coordinating with the surveyors of today's approved preliminary plats to prepare for the approval of the final plats for recording. The commission is also charged with evaluating requests for rezoning of property and advising the county commission for their final determination. In other words, all decisions made by the zoning commission regarding zoning cases are advisory only, and the final determination of the zoning will be made by the Jefferson County Commission in a subsequent public hearing, which all the property owners within 500 feet will be notified. All right, that takes care of the boilerplate stuff. I'd ask if you have your phones or any other electronic devices that make noise that you put them on silent, please. All right, may I have a roll call, please?
Ian Lowry.
Present.
Jay Miller.
Present.
Cynthia Donald.
Here.
Chrissy Forsythe. Here. Joseph Andrews.
Present.
Kenneth Cush.
Here.
Mike Thomas.
Here.
Kenny McMurray.
Here.
Steve Lara.
Here.
Edward Brown.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
All right, thank you. May I have a motion regarding the reading of the minutes from the February public hearing?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we suspend the rules, accept the minutes as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you. So first today, we're going to hear subdivision cases, and we are doing something a little bit different in the way we've been calling these for the public hearing. It's going to be a consent agenda. So what that means is I'm going to call all the subdivision cases and open a hearing. And if there's any opposition, we'll hear the opposition. And then we'll close the meeting, and we'll take one motion for all the subdivision cases to move on. So
What do you do it separate? Call each one?
oh, I'm about to. So
Okay.
that was just,
Clarifying.
okay.
Each
So,
will require a separate vote.
sir,
Each will require a separate vote.
talk louder.
Each will require a separate vote. You'll need a vote for each one.
Yes, but we'll make a motion for each. Okay. See, it's new still, so we're getting a feel for it, or I am anyway. All right. So the first case is S240078. And just to be clear, I take opposition here. Do I call them all? Michael?
You can call for opposition.
Okay. For each case, one at a time? Okay. All right. So is there anyone here in opposition of case S240078? This is the one located in Dora on Highway 78. Okay. The next case is S240079. This is also in Dora.
We'll need to call for the vote on each one. Open and close the public hearing for each subdivision case legally.
And then we vote When I close it, do we vote on it?
Go ahead and vote for each one. Yeah, after you close the public hearing on each one.
Okay, all right. So, doesn't sound very speedy. All right, so I'm going to close the public hearing on the first case, S240078. May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve S24008.
Second.
78, I'm sorry.
Second, 7-8.
All right. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. So I'm going to open the public hearing on subdivision case S240079. Is there anyone here in opposition for this subdivision case? All right, hearing none, I'm going to close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve S240079.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Our next subdivision case is S250005. I'm opening the public hearing now. Is there any opposition to this subdivision case?
Chairman, Mr. Lowry, you might, as you call this case, it also be good to call the address.
Okay. So this one is address 3050 McClendon Chapel Road, Bessemer. Again, any opposition on this one?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to clarify the case number and address to make sure that matches up.
You'd like me to repeat it for you?
Yes, please.
S250005. The address is 3050 McClendon Chapel Road, Bessemer, Alabama.
My book says Morgan's Run Parkway, Bessemer, 35022.
Okay. Well, my script is wrong. Let me go to the main book here.
I think it's just
It
the
says
address, Mr.
Morgan
Chairman.
Run Partners LLC, the property owners.
Yeah.
Is that where you're
That's what he's
getting?
talking about.
Okay.
You're right.
So the property owner is Morgan Run Partners. Okay. Good to proceed?
Just for clarification's sake, the property has frontage on both Morgan Road Parkway as well as McClendon Chapel Road. So both of those addresses are interchangeable, to be honest with you, they're dealing with one property.
Mr. Chairman, I would recommend that we pick one of those then, so that we're consistent.
I think either one of those, both of those have been staked. That's the reason why there's some confusion about that.
Okay. Well, I recommend we have consistency in the future when we have two cases that are on the same property or on the same address. All right. I think I called for opposition. I'll last one more time. All right. Hearing none, I'm closing the public hearing on case S250005. And may I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve this property, S250005, with an exception to the subdivision regulations to allow Lot 2 to be recorded with no road footage.
Second.
All right. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All right. Thank you. Motion passes. Our next subdivision case is S250006. Applicant is Gianni. Gianni, I'm probably going to get your last name mispronounced. Would you tell me how to pronounce it? Is the applicant here? All right. So it's Respinto, I think. I probably butchered it. I don't know Italian names very well. So this is the address is 1791 Brookside Road, Mount Olive, Alabama. I'm opening a public hearing. Is there any opposition to this subdivision case? All right, I'm closing the public hearing. May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, S250006, I recommend that we approve that property, please.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second on subdivision case S250006. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Our next subdivision case is S250008. The Mahaffertys are the owners, and applicant is Wes Bertoldi, perhaps I might get that right. My apologies if I didn't. The address for this property is 1560 Orrin Miller Road in Warrior, Alabama. I'm opening a public hearing. Is there any opposition to this subdivision case? All right, hearing none, I'm closing the public hearing. May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I make a recommendation that we approve S250008.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Our next subdivision case is S250009. Property owner, the Rouses, and Mr. Arrington is the applicant. This is a property at the address of 3714 White Road in Dora, Alabama. I'm opening a public hearing. Is there any opposition to this subdivision case? All right, hearing none, I'm closing the public hearing. May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I make a recommendation that we approve S250009.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second on subdivision case S250009. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes, and Chairman's going to have a sip of something here. It's lemonade for the record. All right, we're going to go to the next subdivision case. This is S250010. The owner is Sharon Baptist Church. The applicant, Steve Loggins. The address for this property is 4434 and 4438 Sharon Church Road in Pinson, Alabama. Opening the public hearing, is there any opposition to this subdivision case? All right, hearing none, I'm closing the public hearing on S250010. May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I would like to recommend S250010 to be approved.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second on subdivision case S250010. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you. And our next subdivision case, S250011. The property owner, it's Walker Family Holdings and K.C. Davis Investments, and Johnny Walker is the applicant. And the address for this property is 116 May Vines Loop, Hueytown, Alabama. I'm opening the public hearing. Is there any opposition to this subdivision case? Would you come up to the podium, give us your name and address, and tell us what's on your mind?
Sure. Randy Hydrick, Hydrick. Address is 117 Glaze Creek Lane.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hydrick.
Okay. I'm not well versed in these processes, so a little
That's okay.
education here, but the reason I would be opposed to this subdivision is because, as best I know, it's zoned A1, and A1 allows for mobile homes. And the people in the adjoining area I've talked to, and they are all in agreement we want no more mobile homes in this area. And so if you look at the plot there, yes. Is that it? Could you put that other one back up? Okay. Okay. If you notice the river coming down, and there's a lot of shoreline property right there, all of that is in a floodplain. It is falling apart, all full of termites, need to be torn down, and what we don't want to see, I mean, it's a prime piece of real estate. What we don't want to see is a bunch of mobile homes go in there along the river. And I don't know the help. Mr. Andrews? Yes. Is that right? Okay. So I think there's issues with septic tanks and floodplains and a lot of different things that are going to come into play as whoever is buying this property tries to develop it. I don't know if this is the proper place to bring this up or talk about it, so maybe it's at the zoning, I don't know. But that's my concern, and that's what I would be against, because nobody, the owners of the property now, will not tell you what they plan to do with it. They just bought the property, a chunk of property, and now they're trying to split it up and sell it off as a profit. And just doesn't sit well, for profiteering in such a beautiful area as that. So that's my concern for now, I guess, at this venue. Is one question, is this the right place to bring this up, or how does it?
No, you're fine bringing it up. So that's what this is about, for you to come forward and ask questions about it. We'll have them addressed as best as we can today.
Okay.
For you.
So I would say before you allow them to split this property up, that they should tell you what their intended use is going to be and what they're going to do.
Okay. So is there any other opposition to the subdivision case? All right. Is the applicant here, Johnny Walker? Mr. Walker, would you come up and give us your name and address, and we'll talk a little bit.
My name is Johnny Walker. I live at 8110 Walker Ranch Road in Pinson, 35126. And we're selling the property that is on the river and the lots, and then we're going to sell the property off of the river later. And we don't intend to put any mobile homes there. There is one mobile home there. But I'll be glad to put a stipulation in the zoning that there be no mobile homes allowed.
Okay, so this is a subdivision case. We don't put a stipulation on a subdivision
Okay.
case. But you can own that if you want to. So, but we can't put that requirement on you in a subdivision case.
Okay.
If it was a zoning case, different story, but it's already zoned for A1, so we can't modify that here, not as a subdivision case. Okay, so you said you were looking to sell the properties on the shoreline right now?
Yes, sir. That's what the zoning is for. Yes, sir.
Okay, and do you remember the approximate acreage of the lots? So is it lot 1 that you're going to be selling only?
No, sir. We're selling everything.
But lot 4?
Can you do it for me? See behind lot 3 right there where that line is? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Everything lot 1, 2, and 3 is what we're selling.
But so you're not selling lot 4 then, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And is your intended purchaser for residential use?
Yes, sir. That's my understanding.
Okay. All right, and let's see. My drawing's really small, so forgive me for not having the actual numbers. Lot 1 and lot 3 are pretty big acreages. Lot 2 is under an acre. I saw you got a variance on that from the variance board to allow that to be A1. So that'll allow you for that. So I was going to ask the staff, if you'd refresh me, what's the limit on mobile homes per acre?
For individual lots,
Yes.
the limit would be 3. They would all have to be occupied by the property owner or the property owner's immediate family.
Isn't there a minimum, like, say lot 2 is under an acre, you can only put one mobile home on there, right?
It's 1 per 15,000 square feet, and that's to satisfy health department regulations.
Okay. So,
But again, that's capped at 3.
yes.
You have to have 25,000 square feet to accommodate those.
So how many square feet in 0.66 acres?
0.66 acres? About 28,000 square feet.
Okay. What was the other number for one?
He would only be able to get one trailer on that smaller lot, based off of the map.
Okay. I was wondering if you could even put one on there. That's what I was getting at. Okay.
I
So,
believe there's, on the smaller lot, there's already a mobile home that's out there. I think there's 2.
Yeah, I actually see that. I see one on the drawing. Okay, let's see.
It's all part of a river camp, which is next door to some.
Yes.
east and
Okay. So, Mr. Walker, can you tell me about what your knowledge is of the septic issues?
To my understanding, each cabin has a state or county approved septic tank. I mean, you know, each one has running water and indoor plumbing.
Okay. All right. And from our health department rep, they couldn't build on there unless they can get a location out of the floodplain and it can perk? Okay. And if they can't, then they won't have one, right? Okay. All right.
Mr. Chairman, I got a quick question.
Sure. Go ahead.
Mike, can they put a mobile home in a floodplain?
You can. You could place a mobile home, you could build a house, you could build anything, it's just that it requires a different setup. There's an extra tier permit if you go with that, that's the floodplain development permit. They would have to elevate it to a certain degree, at different height outs for the mobile home. If it were a home, it would have to be on either a crawl space or some sort of stilts. But, I mean, it is possible. It is discouraged, and it does cost a lot of insurance to do so, but yes. It is something that is allowed.
Okay. Is that all for you, Mr. Thomas? Steve, you look like you might have a question. Does anyone else have a question for the applicant? Okay. Hang on just a second, okay? So, Mr. Walker, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You look like you did.
Well, I was looking on my phone. Mr. Heydrich made me an offer on my property here, and he offered me, I was looking for my notes because I had it in a text that he sent me. But he was accusing me of profiteering. He offered me about 50% of what I paid for the property to buy it because he thought I was in distress and needed to sell it. And we're not trying to make a unreasonable profit on the land, but it's just easier to sell it by dividing it up in the partials. And I paid $480,000 for this property, and I think he offered me $250,000 or $275,000 for it. He lives right on the other side of this property, but obviously I didn't take it. But the guy that's buying this property just bought another 40-acre tract up the river and paid a little over $1 million for it, and he's improving it and making it really nice. And these fish cabins, some people have lived here for 2 and 3 generations, and it's like a second home to them, and they're very nostalgic about their property, and they really want to keep the cabins and keep them up. Some of the cabins are in really nice condition, and some of them needed some repair. But they really enjoy the property, and of course I pay the property taxes on it every year, and it's an asset to the community.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Walker. I think that's all we have for you. So, Mr. Heydrich, you can come up and ask. You can ask your question now. Yes, please. Yep, that's a requirement. So we can get you on the mic.
Oh, okay. Yes, I was curious if mobile homes aren't going along the shoreline, how many houses could be built along the shoreline there? Is there some kind of rule about that, or?
Currently, they're considered sort of already lotted off because it's an existing river camp.
Okay.
So each lot could be replaced with another mobile home or house.
Okay.
Now, that being said, each mobile home or house would have to meet, or have to satisfy requirements of the Jefferson County Department of Health before even being permitted for construction.
Okay. Let's see what else. Oh, talking about the condition of the house. Those, Mr. Walker was correct that those houses have been there. I don't even know how long. I've been down in that area for 50 plus years, and I'm very familiar with the way septic tank systems work and that sort of thing. And I can almost promise you that the septic tank systems in some of those houses are probably 2 55-gallon drums. who knows where the field lines are. And I think the law states that if it's not causing any problem, the county won't do anything. Is that correct? Of a malfunction, right. So
hang on a second. So I have a question. So if a building permit is issued for, say, a new trailer or a new house to go in, if they were planning on using the existing septic tank, does it have to be re-permitted?
It would have, yes, it would have to be permitted to the Jefferson County Department of Health and public permission to use.
Okay.
If there's an existing tank out there.
Yep.
And in situations like this, if the tank itself is substandard, the health department would require them to either upgrade or something to correct.
Okay. Did you get that? So
yeah.
if they put something new in, it's going to have to go through permitting. If it's substandard, it'll have to be brought up to code.
Which is the reason I made Mr. Walker a lower offer, because of the tremendous amount of investment that it would take to make that shoreline usable. It has to be filled in, and all the things that you just said a few minutes ago. The houses are in such disrepair that one of them in particular, the power company wouldn't even bring power to it. They're that bad. They're eaten up with termites. Some of them are falling in. One of them's caught on fire, and needs to be.
Mr. Heidrich, I appreciate your remarks, but do you have any other opposition to this case that we've heard so far?
No.
Okay. So I think we have enough. I mean, we talked about the use, and you heard from the owner what he plans to use it for, and you heard the rules. This is already zoned A1, and in A1 it will permit mobile homes. There is a acreage requirement. Only lot 3 is small enough. Sorry, lot 2 is small enough that only one mobile home could go on it, but more than one mobile home, up to 3, could be placed on the other lots. Okay, but there are requirements for that. Okay, and they have to be same family members. So it could be parents and 2 of their kids, and have 3 separate trailers. But that's it. You don't go above 4, and they can't be, non-relatives. You can't bring your best friend and let them have a trailer next to you, unless you marry him, I guess. So. Or cohabitate. I'm not very up in the trends there. Okay, so I appreciate your comments, Mr. Walker. I appreciate you coming up to address them. So if there's no other questions or comments, I'm going to close the public hearing now and ask for a motion on subdivision case S250011.
Mr. Chair, I recommend that we approve S250011.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second to approve on subdivision case S250011. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, our next subdivision case and last subdivision case is S250012. Sally Muncher and Joan Thornton. The property owner's applicant is James McGee, and this is property address 8290 Mill Creek Road in Dora, Alabama. So opening a public hearing. Is there any opposition to this subdivision case? All right, hearing none, I'm closing the public hearing. May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I recommend that we approve case number S250012.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second on subdivision case S250012. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you. So we're going to move on to our zoning cases. The staff will present the case to the board after I call it, and then we will call for opposition, and the applicant may be asked to come forward to the podium and answer any of the questions. And we do have a 15-minute limit for each side on zoning cases. So, and my right-hand man, Commissioner Miller, is going to be keeping time for me, keep me honest. And then I want to make a point again that the Planning Commission only makes recommendations on zoning cases. It's not the final decision. That will be made by the Jefferson County Commission at a subsequent meeting. So our first zoning case today is Z240061. The property owner is Jefferson County Board of Education. The applicant is Steve Hardwick, and this is on 1520 Cherry Avenue in Forestdale, Alabama. So I know, anyway, let me go on with this. So the case has been postponed at a request of the applicant, but since this was noticed and there may be people in the audience today that want to make comments, so just some logistics. So this will be heard at a different time, and you will be notified just like you were for this case. So I'm going to open the public hearing to allow for opposition. Is there anyone here opposed to this zoning case 240061? Okay. So I apologize that we're not actually having a vote on it today since the applicant asked for it to be postponed. But please, I would appreciate if you come up, give us your name and address, and you can prepare us for next time when they come back. Would you like to do that?
Mr. Chair, I think it may be appropriate for me to go through the information before you open the public hearing, because
all right. So
this request has changed a couple of different times. So
okay.
If they're going to comment, I'm sure they want to know what they're commenting on, right?
Okay. I'm fine if you want to discuss it here and bring it back next time too, okay? I mean, you drew a crowd, you got the news in the back, so, and, you know, she wants to take a story back to the office with her. So yes, okay, so Mr. Brown is going to give a summary of the case, and then I'll let you guys come up and talk.
So this case is changed a couple of different times, and so and my slides unfortunately didn't update along with the most recent submittal, but I'll go with the information that I presently have, and it lets you open the public hearing. So again, as you mentioned, this is case C2461. The applicant is Steve Hardwick, and rather than a senior living facility, what he's proposing now are single-family dwellings within the R2 zone district. And so this property, if you're looking at the existing land use map to the left, it's within the Village Creek watershed. There are no wetlands on the site. It's not within a designated FEMA flood-prone area. And the site is presently vacant. It was the former site, of the former Hillview Elementary School. That building has been demolished and the site's been razed. The county's future land use plan identifies the property for single-family residential. And the zoning map is on the right side, which shows you that the property is surrounded by R2 zoning. And again, the applicant's proposing R2 zoning for this particular site. This is what was submitted. It will change, I guess, by the time of the next meeting, should you decide to postpone. I guess you are deciding to postpone. So what the applicant is presently proposing are 14 single-family residential dwellings on 10,000 square foot lots with lots widths of 100 feet. The housing is proposed to be no less than 1,300 square feet. The density would be 2.12 dwelling units per acre. And the price points of the proposed housing is between $250,000 and $300,000 with access to this site from both Cherry Avenue and Cagle Roads. Staff will withhold any recommendation, but that's a summary as you requested for the applicant's present development proposal, and the applicant is here. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Brown. So is Mr. Hardwick here? All right. Thank you, Mr. Hardwick. So I'm going to go back and call opposition on this case. Ladies, y'all wanted to talk first, so if you come up to the podium. Y'all come on up. It's okay. I know you were ready to go, weren't you? All right. Here we got a brave lady here. Come on up. So tell us your name and address before you start, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Donna Reynolds, and I live at 843 Brandy Circle.
Thank
and
you.
I am here in opposition to this development because these houses will be put into an area where there is a potential, first of all, for flooding. It's at a higher elevation than the neighborhood that I live in, which is Holiday Hills, and we do have water runoff from that area. And secondly, the community that I live in does not have a community center. We don't have a library. We don't have anywhere for us to meet and congregate and fellowship with our neighbors. And so since that location, that land is available, then we would like to increase the value or enhance our neighborhood by putting a community center there and a library, which would increase our property values and make it a more peaceable and enjoyable place to live on that land.
Okay.
Because we just recently had new houses built farther down Cherry Avenue. There are lots of senior citizens apartments and homes in that area already. And so we'd like to do something to benefit the neighborhood and not increase the traffic.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, who's our next commenter? And
Good afternoon.
afternoon.
My name is Lushana Guin. I have lived in Forestdale. I'm 51 since I was 16. Hillview actually has a special place in my heart because that's where I started substitute teaching and things like that. It's kind of emotional for me because this is our neighborhood. I feel like nobody's asked us what we wanted to happen or what we wanted to see happen with this area. So we just feel like that's not the highest and best use of the land. I'm a real estate agent by trade, so I was doing some numbers and stuff and seeing how this would all work. This is not the highest and best use of the land as far as I'm concerned, as an individual and as a community member. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, dang, y'all want to know where I live? Y'all want to know where I work too?
Well, it's on the news. Everybody's going to know.
1489 Tomahawk Road, Tomahawk. I'm so used to saying that. And y'all know it's Birmingham, 35214. Take Tomahawk, KFC, go all the way down. There's a big church that used to be Forestdale Church of God. I'm the 6th house on the right, on the corner. Y'all come see me if you're in the neighborhood.
You're going to sell us a house, aren't you? Thank you for comments. So, ladies, you had some comments you want to share with us? You're going to save them for next time? Okay. So is there anyone else that would like to comment on this zoning case? Okay. So, Mr. Hardwick, since you're in attendance, if you'd like to, you can come up and talk to kind of address some of the things you heard. But you don't have to. I'll leave it up to you since everything's kind of in flux right now.
Okay. Stephen Hardwick, Grace Love Properties. My address is 1545 Lakeside Drive, Birmingham 35235. Concerning this, we would like a continuation because we have had meetings with the zoning and all. We had a meeting with the 3 or 4 different neighborhoods in the beginning when we initially started, and I think. Okay,
so one point of order. So you had your chance to comment. Let's let him talk.
A meeting. I think this area comprises of 3 or 4 subdivisions. One of the ladies that I was talking to, she left. That young man, the firefighter, he was there. I don't know all the subdivisions, but we had an initial meeting. We showed them the plans. And I think what's throwing them off because initially we did have the zoning for 55-plus community. That's what we were going for. When we took it to the meeting, we had some opposition. So we came back and we submitted this current drawing that you have. We were going to, because we had oppositions for the extra traffic on Egret. It was a school there. Traffic was there. We didn't control that. The lot has been empty, not sure. Big old sign was up there for a year, 2, 3 years. Nobody tried to buy it, to improve it, or anything. We saw it, we made an offer. So once we had the meeting last week, we were told that we cannot put a road in the middle of the subdivision as it is on this drawing. It didn't make sense because Egret is a county, state road, whatever. So why build another one inside there? So we said, okay, we will redraw it. And I can't remember, the R&T, Road and Transportation guy said that we can use Egret with the amount of houses that we're going to do. It's going to be 10 to 12 houses, and they're going to have access from Egret and Cherry also, which is existing, so we don't have to change anything. So as far as we didn't address people, we did go to a meeting. Like I say, a couple of those people were there, so everybody was aware. I think because it still says 55 and up on the paper, that's throwing people off, I believe. Okay. But there are going to be single family. They're not going to be leased. We're going to sell them and, move on. So that's our thing. And we will be prepared before the next meeting. We'll get with Mr. Brown, who's been assisting us, with drawings and everything. We will have all that within the next 2 weeks to you, Mr. Brown, on the plots. And the lots are going to be 75 when we talk. So 75 by 140 is the calculation we came up with.
So that's about a half acre?
Yes, sir, almost.
Okay.
Each
And
lot.
and how many?
Stay in the R2 zoning regulation.
Okay. And how many individual units are you going to have with your current plans?
It's going to be 10 to 12. We are right now working between the surveyor and the architect to get that 75. It was recommended, it's actually 70 per R2, but we were suggested was, hey, let's just go 75 so we know we're in the R2 zoning with no problem. Okay. So we agreed to that on the phone call last week, and we're getting those plotted up and drew up to submit over to Mr. Brown for everyone to see by the time we come for next month's meeting.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Thank you.
While you're here, I was going to see if any of the commissioners had any questions for you.
I do.
Yes, ma'am.
We did say sale.
Yes, ma'am.
Property, not an Airbnb.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No.
Yes.
Thank you.
Just for the record, Airbnbs are only allowed in commercial zones.
Thank you.
Correct.
Thank you.
All right. Hang on just a second. I'll give you a chance to do that. Anything else you want to add for us?
No, not at this time.
Okay. So I would like to highlight, since it was a significant change since the last time we saw it, it's about 20 lots to 25, I think. I didn't write that part down, but
2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
15.
Original was 23 duplexes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And now we're
Original
down.
drawing.
And now we're down to how many single-family homes?
It's going to be. This was 14, but it's going to be 10 to 12 now. We still haven't. When we did the math over the phone, when we had the meeting, it was 10 to 12 or 14 maybe. So
Okay.
we're going to get it down to the correct 75 by 140 each lot.
Yeah.
And we'll know when the drawing gets submitted, we'll know exactly how many. Right now, I didn't do the math.
I
'cause just
understand.
thought we was gonna
But
go
you are
forward.
reducing the number of units almost by half. And
Yes, sir.
the lot size is going up to a half acre, which is
pretty much
pretty common for a single-family home.
Yes, sir.
So-
In the R2 zoning.
Yes. So-
And we're well within the population density by bringing the homes down from the original number.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hardwick.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So, all right, ladies, I'm going to take one comment from any person that wants to speak, and then I'm closing the hearing. So you're welcome to come up, Ms. Reynolds. And we already have Ms. Reynolds' address and name. Is that okay? Yes. Okay.
I've lived in Forestdale for 32 years, and most of my neighbors, my peers, my contemporaries in the area are retired. And we have no place to go for indoor activities. We have a park, but when it's cold and when it's raining, there's nowhere in the neighborhood that we can go for congregating or fellowshipping or inside activities. Like if we wanted to have a senior care, senior program, we have no place to put it. So please keep that in mind. Thank you.
Thanks. Did I see somebody else that wanted to speak? Okay. Last call. No, you got to do the whole thing. You got to come up, tell us your name and your address, and then you can ask your question.
My name is Sparkle McGee, like something shiny. I'm at 616 Tomahawk Circle. And Mr. Hardwick, was it?
Hardwick?
Okay. He said he met with what committees about this proposal initially?
I didn't write him down. He said he met with several areas of the community. So, well, hang on, Mr. Hardwick, and so I'll get you the answer after you. Do you have
That was
any?
my question.
Okay, that's all you have.
Yeah, which committee, which associations he met with initially for the proposal? That
Okay,
was it.
all right. You can have a seat, and Mr. Hardwick, can you come up and tell us what organizations or area neighborhoods you met with?
I didn't bring my book.
Just
so I don't know
give
the
us your
name.
best.
Holiday Hills is one of them. Okay.
All right, lady, hang on. So he's talking now.
We met at the ice cream parlor, but it was Mr. Brown's neighborhood was there represented by the firefighter guy. I don't know the name of him, but I would definitely find out for the next meeting. But they said that it was four of them that represented that area where this zoning was, this area. I don't know the name of them.
Okay.
I wasn't prepared, but.
So how many people were actually in attendance?
I want to say about 20, 25 maybe.
Okay, so you had one meeting with about 25 people?
Yes.
Representing different areas?
Matter of fact. Give me 1 second, I'll tell you how many people it was.
Hey, you don't have to look for it. I think we have enough information.
So here's the neighborhood FENA, Egret Drive, Grace, Holiday Hills, FNEA, Holiday Hills, Grace, and FNNA. So here's a list of the people that were at the meeting on 12/10/24. So here's a list of people that were there.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
When we had the original meeting.
All right, thank you. I appreciate
Yes, sir.
that. All right, so I know y'all said some points. Ms. Reynolds, you said you were at the meeting, right? So do y'all have any follow-ups? You got your question answered, right? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I want to add too that staff will post the entirety of the plan and the proposal the Friday before the public hearing so that everyone can see it. So anything that will be discussed in that meeting will be shown in that packet. So you can see it before the public hearing so there's no questions about what's being proposed. And if you have individual questions about what can be done in that zoning type, they can also call staff and we have to have a conversation with them about what they can and can't do with the zoning type.
Okay. Yes.
Change the title of it instead of it being 55 and plus.
Okay. All right. So I've heard the opposition and the applicant has been kind enough to answer some questions. So I've called the case and the applicant has requested this to be postponed, which was granted. So we're not going to have a vote on this one today. But I fulfilled the public hearing part of this today by asking for opposition. This case will be heard at a later time, I presume the next month's meeting. So if you receive notice before, you'll get a notice again. And I have a suggestion for Mr. Harwick and some of the people from the neighborhoods. When I close this up, y'all are welcome to go out in the hallway and have a conversation. So it might benefit both parties before you have the meeting next month. So, a little constructive discussions and see if you have a middle point you can meet in. So that's just a suggestion, not my scope of work here. So all right, we're going to move on to the next case. If you guys would like to get up and head out, you're welcome to. So I'm just going to call the case for you first, Mr. Brown. So our next case is zoning case 250004. Property owner is Hendrick Automotive Group. Applicant is Gene, I can't pronounce your last name. Kochi. Okay. And this is on 201 Sunbelt Parkway in Bessemer, Alabama. And the current zoning is I-4 for industrial park, and they're requesting a change to I-1 light industrial for an auto service center. Okay, Mr. Brown.
Yes, very quickly, the county's future land use plan identifies this property for G4, P3, or infill growth in suburban zone. The auto service center is consistent with that long-range future land use designation. The surrounding zoning, the zoning maps on the right-hand side, to the north and to the west is within the Birmingham city jurisdiction, and that zoning is MXD, or mixed-use development. To the right of the proposed site is R2 zoning within the unincorporated county, and to the south is I3 zoning within the unincorporated county. You look at existing land uses properties within the Shades Creek watershed. There are no wetlands on the site. It's also not within the designated FEMA floodplain designation. And the aerial map shows you that RTJ Golf Trail at Oxmoor to the north. Vacant lands to both the east and to the west and to the south is Carbide Depot. This is what the site looks like today at 201 Sunbelt Parkway. It's formerly the site of Kemper Insurance. This is the applicant's site plan, and so what's existing is 21,654 square feet of office space, 41,154 square feet of warehouse space, 104 plus off-street parking spaces, and access exists from both Sunbelt Parkway as well as Pettyjohn Road. Staff recommends approval of the rezoning request. That is all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Is there any opposition to this zoning case? All right. Would the applicant like to add anything to the presentation? And just name and address first, please.
I'm Greg Hartley with Acro Development Services, 601 South Cedar Street, Charlotte, North Carolina. I do want to add in, so we, Hendrick Automotive Group, purchased this. The picture actually doesn't do it justice. They've already upfit the building. One thing that did change is we did prior last year connect it to public sewer, so it does not have a leach field any longer. The other things, even though the properties are MXD and I think R3, they are owned by United States Steel and they're all vacant. So our intent is to keep buffers around the property and expand the parking lot and fence that area, providing buffers.
Okay.
Happy to answer any questions.
So are you part of the Hendricks group?
I am. So I do all of
Sorry, Hendrick Group. I always
Hendrick.
get the S.
Nope, that's all right. I do all of their civil engineering and land planning and surveying nationwide. And then I have Greg Clark, who is the director of construction in their real estate group here as well, if you need any questions answered.
Okay. Any questions from any of the commissioners? So, has Mr. Hendrick let you go through his private museum in Charlotte yet?
I have been through it many times. Every single time makes the hair on my arms stand up. It's phenomenal.
It's been about 2 years since I went through, and he was up to. It was right after his birthday.
Yeah.
And he got I can't remember. He had a brand new sports car. I can't remember. Is that a Koenig?
Probably it happens probably 4 or 5 times a year. He buys the number one.
No, this was a birthday present from his wife.
Oh,
so
Greg might know more about that one than me, but it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I know, he loves, he just bought the first ZR1 Corvette at, I guess it was at Vegas.
Yeah, the Barrett Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's there every year.
All right. Anyway, sorry, I'm a car guy, so, all right, let me get back to things. So, no questions. Thank you for your remarks, and I close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve Z 25-0004.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second on zoning case 25-0004 with a motion and a second, if I didn't say that. So all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, I'll just remind you that we're a recommendation body for this. It goes to the county commission for the final approval or denial. So, but went smooth here. It'll probably go smooth there. All right, thank you. We are adjourned.
Can't enjoy